Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. So it's another week and it's another Colourpop video because you know they release something every week. So I'm talking about the Honey palette. When I just said, I just think of like that Kanye West song, you know, Bound. Honey. I always got a song to relate something to. But this is what the palette looks like, and this is actually the outside boxing. And it's one of their 9-pan palettes in the monochromatic series. So when you open it up, you know it has this hard plastic shell cover, and then on the back you have the names. And then Colourpop, you know, they make their palettes in United States of America, out in LA, and they're cruelty free. And there is actually one shade in this palette, which is a glitter named Palooza, that is actually not intended for eye use. Okay, you know, you have a big mirror here, and here are the 9 shades. So this is the yellow addition to their monochromatic palettes, and everybody has been asking for a yellow palette. Every time I look on there, they're like, when are you going to do a yellow palette? When are you going to do a yellow palette? So they are listening because, like I said before, they wanted blue, they wanted green, and they wanted yellow, and Colourpop is delivering, okay? So I go ahead and I demo this look for you, and let's go ahead and do some swatches, and then we can get into the demo. So let's go ahead and get with the swatches. I brought you in a little bit closer so you can actually see the colors. The first shade we have is called Stinger, which is a bright matte yellow. Then we have Sunburst, which is actually a shade. It's yellow with a green duochrome flip. And then the next shade we have is Sweet Spot. The next shade we have is a foil shade named Dandy. That is bright yellow. Then we have Palooza, which is the pressed glitter. And this shade is not intended for eye use, probably because the chunks are so big. But you gotta admit, that shade is beautiful. Look at the gold, the green, duochrome flip in that glitter. Woo. Then the next shade we have is Queen Bee, which is a super foil shade. Super pretty. And that is Queen Bee. So the next shade we have is Totally Buggin', which is a mustardy, more muted yellow. Then we have Oh Behave, which is also a matte shade. And that's a brighter yellow. I'm going to go ahead and swatch Oh Behave again. This is Oh Behave. And then the last shade we have is Buzzkill, which is more of a honey Dijon mustard shade. So the last shades are a little fair. I'm going to go ahead and build those other 2 shades up just a little bit more. We have Totally Bugging. And then Buzzkill. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. My eyelids are primed with using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. I was trying to figure out, should I use white concealer or a neutral concealer? But what I find is sometimes when I use a white concealer, I do not like how the concealer looks underneath some shadows, because some of the lighter shadows can just be a little light and you kind of just see that white cast just popping through. So I decided I'm just going to go with the concealer, and I hope it works out for the best. So going in with a number 10 Sephora Pro brush, I'm going to go ahead and start with the shade Totally Buggin' right here, and then I'm going to go into Oh Behave. So just going ahead and picking up that shade. I'm going to put this in the transition area. Oops, starting with a pat on. Let's see what we get. It's really kind of like showing up as kind of like my skin complexion. It's not terrible because it'll give some of the brighter shades something to kind of blend out. But as you can see, of course I start filming when the fire truck's gonna come out. but I'm just kind of putting it in. So as you can see, it's just kind of covering the concealer. I'm not totally upset with the shade, but you know, it's not bad. It's not terrible. But I can't really say, I don't think, knowing from my personal experience, I don't think I would have liked it if I had put that white primer up there. I think I would have been too upset. Or I could have done my trick where I just kind of put a brow bone shade and then go in. But you do get a little yellowy tone wash of color with that shade. And that was the shade Totally Bugging. Wiping off my brush, going in with Oh Behave. Same brush again, I just wiped it off. And I'm just kind of patting that in. Now that doesn't show up too bad. Okay. And I'm actually kind of just stamping in, and then I will blend. Because you know, colors like this, when you just kind of go windshield wiper, you will lose some of the pigmentation. So I can just only imagine how this would show up on a white primer. So this is what we're looking like so far. Now I'm just really digging in. I've been building this color up, building it up, building it up. I want you to see that it's yellow. Now going in with my Sonia G Worker Pro, I'm going to take the shade Sweet Spot right here. And this is an even brighter yellow. So I just want to see how this looks. And I'm going to focus this more so on the inner corner. And I'm just going to kind of stamp this in. Oh, that's pretty neon, and that shows up. It's yellow. This shade is a tiny bit chalky, but not bad. And I'm just gonna meet that in the crease with that shade Oh Behave. And I'm just kind of patting that on. Okay, so I wiped off that same Worker Pro brush, and this is shade I'm like so interested to see what it's gonna look like. This is the shade Buzzkill, and it has like a lot of khaki-ness. It's very mustardy. It kind of reminds me of Dijon mustard. Okay, let's see. I don't know how I like it, how it's layering over this other yellow shade. Let's see. Yeah, it's alright. I mean, I was just expecting more. Let's see. It doesn't really give me a lot of depth, and it kind of does something a little weird in there, but we'll see. So, I think I'm going to stop there because it didn't really add anything of total value to the look, unfortunately. So I'm going to go in with my favorite little Tarte brush right here. And I'm still excited about this look, guys. I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to test out the shades, fill them out, see where they go. And that's the only thing you could do sometimes when it's a first impression, okay? So, let's see. I want to go in first with, I could kind of do a cut crease, but I don't, should I? No, I'm not. Okay. So I'm gonna go in, I think, with the shade Starburst. Then I think I'm gonna move to Dandy. And then I want to use Queen Bee, but I'm really interested in Queen Bee. I think this is such a cool shade. I'm gonna start with this shade Starburst first. Clean tart brush right here. And you know, I love this little brush for my shimmers. Just does the job. Ooh, okay, that shade is pretty. And I'm just gonna kind of pack that on the inner corner right there. Kind of where I have that matte yellow shade. I think this shade could stand to be wet, so let's grab some spray. Okay, I got my Urban Decay All Nighter Primer Potion. I'm gonna go ahead and spray that shade. Go ahead and pat that on. Okay. Picking up just a little bit more of that Starburst shade. I'm going ahead and just pat a little bit more on. This shade is a little flaky, so you got to be careful because you will get some fallout there. And it seems like Starburst is a shade that kind of likes to travel because it's somewhere over there too. Okay. Now I wiped off that brush, going in with the shade Dandy, probably short for Dandelion. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this and I'm going to marry it in with Starburst. Ooh, okay. That's very pretty. Very yellow. So that's pretty. This shade has a little bit of fallout too, so just be careful. But not as much as Starburst. This shade is a lot smoother. Starburst is kind of flaky, just a little. Now, cleaning off that brush, I'm still using the same brush. I'm just wiping it off of my towel, going in with the shade Queen Bee. And I'm going to take Queen Bee and just, okay, I'm like, do I have any in my brush? Okay, there we go. It's picking up. I do think this is a beautiful shade, but I think it could stand to be wet, so I'm going to go ahead and wet it. Going ahead with Queen Bee again on that outer. And I'm going to marry all of that together. And since I don't have a lot of depth in the crease, I'm just kind of, I brought that over. Going in again with Starburst, I'm just going to go ahead and wet it a little bit more, and I'm just going to bring it in a little bit further in. And I like how this kind of has like a greenish duochrome to it. Now going in with my Wayne Goss number 17, I am going to go back and dip into that shade Buzzkill. And I'm just going to see if we can just get a little bit more going. But now when I blend it in with the other shades just to get a little bit more depth. And we seem to get a little bit something, so that's not too bad. And I'm just kind of blending it in to kind of complete the overall look and give the crease some type of shape. All right, I'm gonna do the other eye and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back and this is the final look. So I must say that since I put everything together, got my eyeliner going and the rest of my face, that I really do like how the look came out. And I will leave my makeup details down below. I hope I remember to. Sometimes I'm bad. Forgive me if I don't leave them down in the description box. But let's talk about my thoughts with the palette. Okay, so once again, Colourpop has come out with these monochromatic palettes. They're really listening to their customers, and I think that's great because everybody has been asking for a yellow palette. They were asking for a green, a yellow, and a blue. And now Colourpop has definitely come through with this yellow palette. So I think the packaging is darn cute. I like how it's bright yellow. I'm still like, okay, on the fence about this plastic packaging, but whatever, I'll get over it. However, for me, I feel like the stars of the show are definitely the shades. I'm going to pull a little closer so you can see. Hopefully I'm not blinding you here. But the stars of the show are definitely like the shimmer shades, being Dandy as one, Queen Bee, and Sunburst. Sunburst is actually really cool. I have it on my inner lid, as you guys can see. This shade has like a duochrome flip, so I think that kind of from these palettes we could kind of expect like a standard. You're going to have one of a duochrome, you're going to have like a darker shimmer, you're going to have some bold shimmers, and then you're going to have several mattes and variations of the color. And now they're kind of doing the pressed glitter. So I would say that Palooza is a pressed glitter. It's not safe for you to actually use in your eye area, and you should definitely be careful if you do use it on your eye. These glitters are a little bit chunkier, so that's why you need to be careful. It's not really so much of a finely milled glitter, so do be careful if you're going to use it on your eye area. And Palooza is also a repeated shade. It was released when they did their, I guess their glitter line a couple weeks ago. So if you already have it, then it's something to keep in mind. So once again, you know, I love these palettes. They're $12. You can't really beat that if you're looking for just a couple of accent shades. I think like these palettes are usually perfect because you can definitely get accent shades. You buy single shadows, Colourpop single shadows are $4 without a little pan container, or $5 if you do get the little pan container, and you get all of these shadows for $12. So my slight personal issue with this palette is I definitely wish that Buzzkill was just a little bit more pigmented and a little bit deeper in nature, because on my particular skin tone you don't get a whole lot of depth with this particular shade or in this palette, and this is the only shade that we have to kind of create this depth if you're just going to use it as a standalone palette. Now I think that Buzzkill is a pretty shade. I like Queen Bee, and I actually do like the shade Oh Behave, Totally Bugging, and then I did use the shade Sweet Spot. And the yellows came off pretty rich. They came out pigmented, and they did not come out thin, because a lot of times the yellows can be very, very chalky. I didn't have a problem with the shades being patchy. I didn't have a problem with the shades skipping. I didn't have a problem with the shades looking thin, and I think that worked out well for me. The shimmers are bold, they're beautiful, they're creamy, especially Dandy. Dandy is a bright, beautiful yellow. Queen Bee is very foiled, olivey, mustardy. It just reminds me, like these two shades right here, they remind me of just like Dijon mustard. Dijon honey mustard, yeah. And then like I say, with the Sunburst, you get that cool duochrome flip. And then the yellow mattes, they do stand out. So the only thing I would just say that if you know you're a few shades darker than me, you might have a little issue with these shades trying to show up. You're definitely going to have to use a white primer. I think I didn't use my white primer because the last time I used it, which was in the Huda Beauty Neon video, I did not care for this consistency of this concealer. I think it was just too stark on my complexion, and if the shades tend to be thin, then you have an issue. So make sure you use a quality good white primer, like maybe like the Milk Jumbo, not the Milk, well I think it's called Milk, but you know the Jumbo pens by NYX in the shade Milk, which is the white one. Something that's creamy, that spreads out very well and doesn't dry kind of streaky or grainy, because it will look a little underneath these shadows. Overall, I mean, I think they hit it out the park. You know, Colourpop has been coming through with this. I think for me, this is more of an accent palette. I really enjoy the look I came out with. I feel like the black eyeliner just kind of set it off with the lashes. And I do feel like I have a complete look with this palette. But I mean, truthfully being honest, I'm definitely here for this as an accent palette, because this is not a palette that I'm just going to be like, yes, yes, full complete looks versus maybe the green palette or the purple palette, and then I have the Blue Moon and the Watermelon. Those to me feel like more complete palettes versus the Honey, but I really do love it. And for me though, shimmer shades are a hit because, like I said, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3, excuse me, and that will cost me $12 right there just for those particular shades. And I think that those shades are beautiful, and they just really completed the look for me, and that's what made me fall in love with the look. And then just adding Buzzkill in and this shade, and even this shade showed up pretty well on my skin complexion. It just kind of completed the look for me. As you know, I did not try to press glitter. Like, I don't know if I put that by my eyes. I'm usually like, okay, stuff is not gonna bother. But it's a little chunky. I think it's beautiful. So maybe I will try it, but you gotta be careful. So I don't know why they would just do such big glitter in this particular palette and not maybe do a smaller, finer micro glitter that people won't feel so on edge about. Because I think like we are so kind of used to hearing like things that I say for the eyes, like in the, what is it? So like in this palette, the Main Squeeze palette, you do actually have a couple shades that are saying they're not really intended for the eye safe, but we know that that's because it's going to cause staining and something like that. But you don't want big chunks of glitter floating around the eye. That's not really cool. And then the only shade that I did not use other than the glitter in this palette was the shade Stinker. So I can't really attest to how that shade works. But this is just a first impression. I'm going to keep playing with it. Like I said, I'm really digging the shade Queen Bee. I could just see myself maybe just going in with Buzzkill and Queen Bee and having a complete look, because I just feel like that golden shade is so pretty. It's kind of like a dirty mustardy golden color, and during the summertime that's going to be beautiful. So overall, I do like the Honey palette, and I just love the name. It's super cute. So I'm kind of excited to see what next they're going to do for the little mini monochromatic palettes. Like, wait a minute, I think it would be dope if they did a black one though. You know, all different shades of like blacks, and I think that would be bomb. You can get a bomb smoky eye from it. So let me know what you guys think about this video. Did you pick up the palette? And just let me know down below in the comment section, because you know I'm going to respond back. And I will talk to you guys very soon in another video. And then I do have something else planned with this palette, so stay tuned.